All right, what's going on, everybody? This is episode number 29. Yeah, DJ, I got it right, so shut up. Episode 29 of
Damn.
the first...
Welcome back, Sonny.
Yeah, welcome back.
Jesus Christ.
Episode 29 of the First and Framerates podcast. I am your host, virtual footballer, a.k.a. Silent Gamer. Everybody calls me VF. I've pretty much been in virtual footballer mode for the past week and a half. And I have my two co-hosts with me. Bills, what is going on?
Well, I'm going to play good cop in this situation since clearly you want to play bad cop against the third panelist here, DJ.
Man, you just disrespect and call him a panelist. He's a host.
He's a panelist.
Wow.
What a panel. Oh, my God.
I go away for 2 weeks.
Oh, boy.
Okay. I see how it is.
Which leads us to DJ. What's going on?
Oh, now y'all care?
Oh, my God.
Yeah, VF being the host with the emphasis on host.
That's right. Founder and host.
VF be the worst host if he came over his house. He'd be like, you know what a refrigerator is. Fuck you mean what you want to drink.
No, seriously, man. You've been gone for a couple weeks. How you been, DJ? Seriously.
Well, recovered for one thing, and ready to talk about these couple of topics that we just found out that we were going to talk about just beforehand.
Yeah, everything's done. Everything's done off the cuff, so we don't script too much of anything out here, right, Bills?
Yeah. Well, according to some people, you know, we just sit like TMZ and wait. Well, whatever.
And start shit, right? We start shit. We gas in the actual quote. We gas people up to go after others.
Pretty much.
Shout out to Hollywood sports, man. Anyway, we're going to talk about this Madden 19. We all got the game early. We all been playing it. Pre-patch, post-patch.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say nothing else about this game. I was really scared.
I'm going to defer to y'all post-patch, though.
Yeah,
because I haven't played post-patch.
I'm just going to cover everything. But I'm just saying,
both your trials are out.
No, I have a third one, and I haven't played yet.
Googly moogly. Really?
My cousin's third one, actually.
Wow.
But
I haven't played yet. I just haven't gotten around to playing. I knew the patch came out yesterday.
Yeah, it came out yesterday, and
yeah,
I was very worried about that patch because we all know how patches go with Madden. I mean, you play the game, you love the game, and a patch comes in and at least about 7 or 8 things are out of whack, and that's damn near being generous.
Hell, there was a patch in Madden 17 that turned the shit into Madden 16 and a half.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like I was very worried about this, but when this patch came, I got off of work, I fired it up, I just started playing it like nothing happened, and that's how it turned out to be. Everything kept playing out like nothing happened. Some things were enhanced, some things were better. I don't know if you noticed this, DJ. We both play it on PC. I haven't seen any of the frame rate drops that they were talking that was in the earlier patch, so I don't know if that has anything to do with it. But overall, the gameplay is much, much more better. And as of right now, I don't see them. They don't need to touch this game at all. That's just my intro of it. We can go into more detail of what else we're talking about. But since DJ, you played the game post patch, I'm definitely gonna let you share your thoughts about the game in general.
Okay, so I've had the PC version for since August 1st, because that's when, if you went and got the Origin Access
talking to you, Dollar.
Man, we got name dropping out here like hell, ain't we?
No kidding. You basically had 2 options. You could do the $15 a month, or you can pay $99 for the whole year. I chose $15 because I'm not going to have the premiere for a whole damn year. But had the game since August 1st. My main thing I've been enjoying is the running animations. They're smooth. The interactions are... I can't say enough about the interactions. I have video clips that I've been recording that I'm probably just going to highlight on the interactions alone. I think for me, some of the audio clips I've experienced, they've needed to really, patch. And I've experienced them even post-patch, so there's still, like, with the crowd and stuff like that, there's still some instances of, I say, morphing, but they're few and far in between.
Yeah, they're very, very slight shift in the morphing. I agree.
Yeah, the defense is definitely better. They're playing closer. They're not giving up on any possession, anything. They contest everything. I mean, not what I mean by contest, because sometimes there'll be instances where they won't contest through an animation, but they will try their best, even if the receiver catches the ball, they try to either get it out of there. There are animations that generate that they will continue to try to bring the ball carrier down, even after the catch. Like, they'll definitely play the receiver through the animation. You'll see a lot of interesting animations between wide receivers and DBs this year. It seemed like they really did work on that a little bit more. Yeah. I think the one thing from that, you definitely don't see the receivers jumping on deep throws like they did last year, where now they're actually catching on the run, and you'll have animations play out where, like, I seen one, I think I highlighted it in a video that I posted featuring just 1 quarter gameplay. I forgot what team I was playing against, but where Richardson caught a pass over a slant, and he basically caught it over his inside shoulder, didn't leap for the ball, and the DB on his back just tried to rake it out. He was not successful, and it all played out smooth. So I'm enjoying my time.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, me pre-patch, I was enjoying the game already, and I mean, I for what I've seen pre-patch, everything was pretty smooth on the surface. Now, once you played, you did see a little bit of herky-jerky stuff. Like, yep. One thing I noticed was the shifting of players when there were some tackles, or it was just certain two-man animations. I mean, they were real slight, but if you've been playing Madden as much as we have, we can see it off the rip. You know, we can see those things, because we've been playing Madden when they were just blatant morphing through players to tackle people back in, Madden 10, Madden 11. I mean, we've been around those times, so when we see those slight shifts, we notice it, but it's nothing game breaking to the where we're like, this is something serious that we can't tolerate. Now, with the post patch, they sharpened it up a little bit. They're still there, but it's more of like, okay, this play is going to play out anyway like this. He's going to end up tackling this guy. They just sped it up, so it was somewhat of a shift once it happened. As far as fundamentals, I mean, real player movement shows pretty much everything that you've been wanting in a Madden game. Backpedaling, foot planting, certain techniques to tackle people, certain techniques to catch, reach tackles, running through the offensive line, quarterback movement. And I'm going to talk about that for a second. There are some instances where the quarterback will turn their back to the defense when they're rolling out. Yeah,
I've been seeing that a lot too.
That's there. I mean, if that's a game breaker for you not to play the game, I mean, it sucks to be you, because overall the game plays very well outside of that one little instance. The stiff arm is there, but it's not effective as 18. Separation of ratings is definitely on point. You will see certain things from certain players that you won't see from others. And before we started this podcast, I just been testing it out, where I was looking at Julio Jones, seeing what aggressive catches that he do compared to Odell Beckham, and some animations that just don't play out between the two. Now, you can go back to Madden 16. Guess who had the one-handed catch in Madden 16? Everybody had it. Now, those animations are pretty much locked to certain players. In other words, I've tried to do an aggressive catch with Calvin Ridley. We know the rookie out of Alabama that's on the Falcons. He does not have that catch animation. No matter how many times I try to make him do an aggressive catch, streak down the sideline, he does not have it. Mohamed Sanu, do not have it. The second string wide receiver for the Giants, I think he's number 87. I don't know his name. he don't have the same animations that Odell Beckham has. I don't know. I cannot say this for certain that it's there, but from my testing, differentiation of players not only break down based on ratings. It looked like it break down on player stature and animations as well. I'm gonna be honest with you. I've played, almost 3 days worth of this game, and I'm absolutely impressed with the Madden 19. I will sit here on record. I don't think this game needs another patch. I think everything is good. If you're playing Madden Ultimate Team, put the shit on arcade mode, and if anything wonky happened over there to your liking, let it be. If something is more sim, then I'm sorry for you, but I don't think the game needs to be changed. I think this is definitely a $65 purchase. I can't say it's a perfect game, but if you want to play a decent game of football on a modern console, you're not going to get any better than this. And I will take that to the rest of this gaming or this Madden cycle. As of right now, this game is worth the $65 purchase. There's no reason to touch it. I'm going to give a full review when I do make my video on it and give you a proper score. I did say in the last episode I could see this game being an 8.5 to 9. Don't be surprised if it's higher than that. Bills, I want you to go. You can let me know what you think.
All right, so I was just kind of taking some notes of some things that I would talk about. So I got 4 things that I was the most impressed with. The first was RPM. Definitely a skill gap with RPM. You've been noticing it on Twitter. I've noticed it even playing with my friend. Definitely a skill gap with RPM. And more importantly than that, that ties into the other thing, which is that ratings matter. You're not going to be cutting on a dime with every running back anymore.
Absolutely not.
You're not going to be beating linebackers to the edge with every linebacker anymore.
Nope.
You're not, with every running back. You're not going to be running over linebackers with every running back. Hell, you won't even run over safeties with certain running backs. It's just not going to happen this year. The route running. A lot of guys are good at running short routes within the slot. Some are good at running up the seam. Some are on the outside and can't get any type of separation. That would be Brandon Marshall, for example. Michael Crabtree, I experienced that with. So ratings definitely matter. And adding those, different types of ratings as far as route running for each tier, I think is a really nice touch. Another thing I was extremely impressed with, was the tackling.
Oh my God, I'm going to talk about that.
I think we're all going to talk about the tackling.
That tackling is beautiful.
That is crazy.
Joke.
The tackling, and we're not even just talking about the sounds. The tackling, how it plays out, has vastly improved.
Technique is A1.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's like I hate to say that we foreshadow a lot of stuff, but we do, because what we were talking about when we first heard about the conservative tackle, did we not say that we pretty much wanted 90% of the tackles that weren't hit sticks to turn out looking like conservative tackles? Well, boom, we got it.
That's the way it should be. You learn to wrap up and take them down.
So you have situations now where it's so organic. You'll have a guy wrapped up, and your teammate will come and knock him off, and you'll be like, "Fuck, I had the tackle just now." Mm-hmm. You'll have another situation where you're running the ball. The CPU will do the same thing. You'll get extra yardage. Mm-hmm. The hit sticks. Not only is there a skill gap, they look great. They feel great. There's no situation where you can't pull them off. And just in general, tackling is very responsive. There's not as many missed tackles as last year.
Oh, and let me stop that. If there is missed tackles, it's justified.
If there are missed tackles, they're justified, and they're honestly based on physics.
Yeah.
And the momentum of your player.
Positioning.
Where
you are on the field.
And the route that the players take to the ball is really nice depending on what tier player they are. So if it's a Von Miller or a Khalil Mack, you're definitely going to notice them affecting the game in so many different ways, because they take such a great path to either the quarterback or the ball carrier, to the point where I haven't broken a tackle with Luke Kuechly yet. I haven't broken a tackle with Khalil Mack yet. I haven't broken a tackle with Aaron Donald yet. Those are just a few examples. So you definitely see, like, for example, you were talking about preseason before. I played in preseason, and I'll tell you what, I cut a guy because he missed like 4 or 5 tackles in a game. So you can tell the difference in who can tackle and who can't tackle, because even on the computer side, the guys who can't tackle just try to hit, stick, and whip.
And if they're missing tackles, that's not Clint Oldenburg's fault. Get that guy out of the game and put somebody in who can. Or if you're playing, a franchise, cut his ass and get somebody in there in free agency who can tackle.
And if you're getting your ankles broken, stop trying to do aggressive tackles and hit sticks.
Yep.
Because there's not once that I've gone flailing to the ground because I've tried to tackle somebody with a conservative tackle. Either I mistimed it or I made a tackle. Or we interacted in some way. He might have broke me off, but it's not like I had some type of uncontrollable animation happen.
And let me jump in as far as hit sticking, because that actually played out in an instance where I was able to knock the ball out of somebody's hand as they were trying to bring it in for a catch, and resulted in an interception.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much because the ball was pretty much knocked into the air. Because there was a play, I don't know, it's on the video that I have on my channel, where the tight end went straight up the middle. I was playing cover 2, and I had the safety. I had widened him out a little bit, so the ball was thrown over the middle. Tight end pretty much had it in his hands. He was bringing it in. I brought my safety all the way over and hit stick the ball.
Mm-hmm.
In which the ball went flying up into the air, and then my linebacker, who was underneath, picked it off.
Right.
So, hit stick isn't just always for the actual person to hit. Sometimes the hit stick will hit the ball out.
Yep. So. And then, back to ratings mattering, I mean, I see a lot of people also talking about the animations for knocking the ball out. Every cornerback can't pull that off, and every receiver isn't going to let a cornerback pull that off. You ain't just ripping the ball out of Julio's hands.
No.
Hell, Golden Tate, I couldn't jar the ball loose with him either. There's certain guys that are just tough across the middle. And there are certain guys, it doesn't matter how hard your safety barrels down and runs into them, it doesn't matter. You have to
know when to use the hit stick.
You do.
It just don't happen anymore. It just don't. You do. It's either you need to know your personnel or either wrap up or do an aggressive tackle. It's just one of the two. You just can't hit stick because this is video game football. No, this game has evolved into what video game football used to be. You're borderline talking about a football simulator. And that's not joking. And anybody who sit there and just want to kick back and laugh at this podcast, you need to really play this game and have a football mindset. This game is really going on their way to be a real football simulator.
Which brings me to my last thing that I was the most impressed with, which would be play calling variety from the CPU. There are a lot of similarities between teams as far as what they call in third down situations, as far as third and long, what they call towards the end of games to, get the ball towards the sideline, things of that nature. There's a lot of similarities as far as philosophy, run the ball first down, et cetera, et cetera. But as far as seeing the same play over and over again, that doesn't happen. At least from my experience.
No, I haven't seen it either.
I've seen a lot.
Same here.
I've had a lot of times where I'll see the same route and think it's the same play, and that will come back and backfire on me.
Well, let me tell you something. We've been hearing for a while now, since NCAA 14 has not been being produced on a yearly basis, that some of those guys from the team has actually started working on Madden. Mm-hmm. I'm starting to get a feel that we're starting to get a sense of their footprints or their fingerprints on this game. You got differentiation of players. I mean, the college game was built on that. I mean, the game was just, that's the way it was, where different players did different things as far as rating goes. You're talking about playbooks. Not only the playbooks a little bit more diverse, the AI is actually doing different plays. That's what they did in the college game. So I think we're starting to see that in Madden now.
Yep, but I mean, so there are a couple of negatives that I have. Some things that I did iron out. I don't know if the patch addressed them. Maybe you guys can give me some type of insight on that. Mm-hmm. But I have 3 things that stuck out to me that I didn't like. one of which was on All Madden. The only issue I had on All Madden was when you have the coverage on default for the computer, there were some times where they got speed bursts within the zone to bat away passes. Didn't really like that. And they would clear speed bursts too, because they would be out of position and then they would kind of, speed up into position. But, I figured that out.
That's kind of what Mark Rader was talking about, right? With that pass?
Kind of, but it's not even. It wasn't really shifting. It was like a literal speed burst.
Okay.
So they wouldn't shift into place. They would be in a position where they wouldn't be able to cover that much ground normally, and they get like a crazy speed.
Like
burst.
They speed up his animation. The run animation is all
they
going to
speed
become
up
ultra.
the animation.
Yeah.
Okay, I got what you're saying. I got it.
So that was alleviated by putting the coverage down a little bit and putting the reaction time down a little bit for the computer.
And that right there is actually clutch, because that's been a theory of ours for quite some time about lowering the coverage and lowering the reaction time to.
Now it doesn't work on All Madden though, so that's what sucks. So what I did was I lowered the computer's coverage just down to like 45, and it was pretty good. It worked out. On All Pro, we'll get to that though, because that's, I think, a very important nugget that a lot of people need to hear.
And that's my area. I love playing on All Pro.
Same here.
So the second thing that kind of worried me was the ball carrier vision for the CPU. There have been times when the ball carriers had clear paths to run forward instead of making cuts, and instead they would kind of turn away that didn't really make any sense instead of heading upfield. That bothered me a little bit.
I think that's been taken care of by the patch.
Yeah,
so if they took care of that with the patch, then that's
because what they said was that the AI running back would try to do too many one cuts.
Right. Okay.
So they fixed that.
That's a positive. And then the third thing is slight suction with the tackling, which you guys already talked about. There are times when a guy will come and try to add on to the tackle, and you'll see just very slight suction. Not even something that would really affect the play if it didn't happen. Just doesn't look very good. So, and it doesn't even really happen with one-on-one tackles. It's literally when they come to add on and gang tackles, every now and then you'll see it. Not a game-breaking issue. Doesn't affect gameplay in the least bit. Just looks really bad when you slow it down in replay. Probably won't even notice it in real time. But when you slow it down in replay, for example, that Devontae Freeman play, I did notice that the second guy that came in to tackle him, there was a little bit of suction.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That stuff right there is still there. And don't get me wrong, he would have hit him regardless, but the way they implement it is they need to clean that up. Because that play would have played out the same way without the crazy. Because put it like this: remember when suction was a thing? Like, it was really bad. Like where guys would literally shift like 2 or 3 yards away. The tackles. That's when it was really bad. Like now you can see, like, you know what? Why did that have to happen? Because he was going to grab him anyway. Like I said, with us, we've been playing for a while. Like you said, you notice it. Some people may not notice it. In some cases, I had to tell people now they can't unsee it. But we've been around long enough to know that.
Yeah, it's like more so guys kind of like warping so the tackle, I guess, looks a little bit more realistic. That's kind of how they're warping into place because the angle might not exactly be right. I said, it doesn't really affect. It doesn't affect gameplay. It's just an eyesore.
Right. It doesn't affect the outcome. I think what they're trying to do. They're trying to continue this. They're trying to make the speed of the game like fast. Yeah. Like when a hit happens, they want it to happen fast. Like hits happen on the field in real life, but just let it do what it do. It's going to be all right.
Well, see, that's the thing. I'm not a game developer, but the one thing I do remember them saying was that they pretty much, the same way that they did on the more points of impact for a guy to come in and add on to tackle, that would probably alleviate a lot of that suction. That's just a thought.
I would agree too on that.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Yeah, so it's like it's not a bad thing that it's there. It just it needs to be where to when the game is moving, it got to get to the point where we don't really see it, and that's gonna be hard. That's gonna be hard for us because we can see it, but like people, like new people who are just trying to understand the game or they haven't played it in a while, they're not going to see it unless we point it out to them. And like I said, some people now, they can't unsee it, which they understand it, that it's very little, and they understand that it, he was going to hit them anyway, but they need to just tone it down, because the speed of the game, for the most part, I think is okay.
Yeah, no, it is. Let's move on to some. I
want to talk about the acceleration of the game.
Okay.
I think they really done a great job with the patch, with the acceleration of the game. I mean, players are actually picking up speed. I love the animation when they do try to pick up speed. They actually, they actually duck the top part of their body. The top part of their body actually try to gain momentum and running. We can talk about Madden 04 all we want with their running animation, and no. To this day, that running animation is still godly. It's one of the best running animations in any game. But the way that Madden 19 is doing it, you can't do nothing but respect it, because it looks very realistic and it's playing out.
And I can finally say that they've topped Madden 04 as far as the running, just from the aspect of adding multiple animations for each position. Because every guy doesn't have the same animation as far as running. I have cornerbacks. The cornerbacks have a separate animation. Certain wide receivers have a separate animation. Running backs have separate animation.
Let a line. The only thing that Madden 04 had that was totally different. Like, everybody outside of a lineman had that running animation. You if a lineman picks up a fumble in Madden 04 and try to run, their arms are just flailing. They're not running like a running back.
Right.
Madden 19 has it now where every different position has a different type of acceleration animation. And
hell, C.J. Mosley had a different animation than the slow linebacker on the team. I was like, that's insane.
Yeah, not only that, we can bridge that to the catching animations. I just had NY Kid, shout out to him, even though he don't come on our podcast yet.
Oh wow!
Shout out to him. I told him about the catching animations between Julio and Odell Beckham, and he had to test it out. Now he's saying that some of the animations Julio Jones have are insane, and they're like, some of the animations are just tied to him, because I haven't seen them on nobody else. Man, listen, I'm gonna let you go ahead and go Bills, but I'm gonna just say, if you guys sit here and sleep on Madden 19, you're doing yourself a disservice. Yeah, I know you hate for EA. I know you hate for the exclusive license. I know you want 2K to come back. I know you want somebody else to make a game. But if you like the game of football, you can't help but to give this game a try, because the game of football is respected. I don't care who makes the game, but if the game respects the sport, I highly advise people to try it. No joke.
Yeah.
Or you can just stay your ass away from Twitter and also forms of social media, so you don't sit there and seem like a parasite.
Well, you got about
other people's fun.
Yeah, you got 2 or 3 people that just absent on Twitter all of a sudden since this game came out. But that's another story. Bills, what you about to add?
I was just gonna add one last thing as far as the gameplay that I noticed was the ball placement. So the pass that I've been talking about for the longest time that hasn't been in has actually made it into the game. I don't know how consistently you can throw it, but low and outside passes, as far as back shoulder, they're in.
Right.
I've seen them a couple times. I have to try it on the goal line to see if it really works. I don't know if certain quarterbacks can't do it or what the deal is, but I actually did throw a pass low and to the outside to a tight end up the seam, and it looked really nice. So I'm going to experiment a little bit more with that.
Ball placement in Madden 19 has been one of the things that I've been working on pretty much all day. I got the running game down. You just have to be patient and follow your blockers. I don't understand how people just don't.
I was going to get into that as far as tips for people. We can get into that now.
We can get into that, but I'm just saying, but ball placement, it's more complicated than it looks. You really have to know where you want to put the ball, and you have to know your quarterback, because Matt Shaw bum ass, that dude cannot throw accurately to save his life. Matt Ryan is much better. And I'm not even going to talk about that 4th string quarterback that I had that I put the clip on Twitter about. Trust me, I'm telling you, this thing was not advertised, but something in this game is showing differentiation of players in this game. And ball placement, you have to know your quarterback. And with me, I've noticed that there's been plenty of clips on YouTube. Pat Mahomes throwing a bomb. You had what's that boy name that plays for the Vikings? Kirk Cousins throwing to the sideline.
Oh God, that guy.
Yeah, that guy. I mean, I've seen Blake Bortles throw passes. I've seen NYKia use the Jaguars and the Panthers throwing passes with players that I've never seen from Matt Ryan. And I mean, I know, don't get me wrong, and I know y'all can understand this. We both know people are probably kicking back laughing at us right now because oh my God, they talk about Madden, they've been played by Madden and shit.
Oh,
no, man, this is no joke. I'm dead serious. Something about this game is really good, and we can't blame it on the honeymoon phase at this point. A patch has already been put in.
Well, I mean,
so you can't say it's a honeymoon phase. No, these guys have patched the game.
See, so for me, I'm gonna let you finish, but for me, the key to knowing that they've released a game that is very simulation based is the fact that all the haters can do is criticize people who bought it. They can't criticize facets of the game. All they can criticize is people who bought it, period.
I have yet to see somebody honestly gripe about this game like they did in the past Maddens. Everybody now is just talking about these little minor details, i.e. nothing against them. What Mark Rader was talking about, I get it. That's a problem. There was another clip of a guy out there had a Madden 25 legacy issue where the guy was supposed to tackle him and all the players are just standing around. I get that. That's something that's been in the game of Madden. And I'm not saying that the game is perfect. These games still have problems.
Of course.
But overall, these are two instances that I know that's been out there. We can go back to last year, Madden 17. How many times, online or offline or whatever the case, how many times, how bad that game was clowned?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's enough people who have this game early now you would know if those problems exist. As of right now, nobody's really said that it was old. This is not Madden 16. See, this is something. When we were playing Madden 16 and Madden 17, we were saying, oh, this is not Madden 11. That's a game from 6 years ago. Now with Madden 19, we're basically telling people, yo, this is not 18. This is not 17. We're talking about games that was just a year out.
And that's the thing. And another thing, I can't stand the people who say the game looks the same. The game looks the same. I haven't played it, but it looks the same.
It absolutely does not. Because
A, it doesn't, and B, even if it did, most sports titles year to year don't have a huge overhaul in the graphical fidelity of how the game moves. That's just the reality of it.
But let's be honest. I have a question. When did Madden 18 ever look bad?
Hey, you gotta ask some of these people.
Because Madden 18 didn't look bad. So if it does look the same, what's the problem?
And that's the thing. I think Madden is the only game that suffers from that type of stigma. It looks the same as last year. It's the only game that suffers that stigma. 2Ks look the same for the longest, but the difference is when you play it, you realize exactly how much they added.
Right.
NHL, you could sit there and maybe claim it looks the same this year. If you played the beta, you would sound dumb.
I'm so ready for 19, even though I still love 18.
Let me jump in real quick. I just look at people who continue to say it looks the same, that continues. Honestly, we know for the umpteenth time that you don't have the game, haven't played the game, especially haven't played the game for several years. So, of course, you're going to look at it from the outside and say, oh, it looks the same. But then when all you have to do is, if you know a friend that got the game, play it. That's my suggestion. It's like, I think a lot of these cats are even afraid to play it. Well, they want to look at it and continue the same narrative.
That's why they see. That's the thing.
You have some people say save $65 but can't put up $15.
Forget about that.
Hey,
you got people in this community that try to
hold on, one more time, Bills. You got people that say save 65 but can't put up $5 to play it on Xbox.
Yeah. You got people that say save 65 but they only stay in character on Twitter because they have Madden 17.
Yeah, I saw that and I was just like, dude, I thought you hadn't played Madden in years.
And and I also noticed that somebody is liking some of these clips that we putting out.
Yeah,
but they don't. But
same liar.
And they don't like Madden.
Oh, I'm sorry, hello, Gedden. But anyway, yeah. So back to the positives in Madden though. The other thing I noticed, I really like how you have to pay attention to where your line is breaking down, because from play to play, your line could be breaking down in a multitude of places based on what defense you're playing. For example, I was using the
Hold on. Before you go to the Seahawks, you don't think your line could break down because of fatigue?
Oh, of course.
Okay, you got to block the same guy 3 or 4 times in a row. You don't think that?
Oh, of course.
Okay, I'm just wondering now.
No, yeah. But I'm saying.
Hold on. But remember, the past complaint used to be, it always break down from one side. I do remember that complaint. So to see and feel and hear that it is breaking down wherever on a given play, that's hats off to the dev team there to make that possible. All right, go on, Bills.
Your line breaks down, I would say, maybe 3 different ways. Fatigue, being overmatched by a better player at a certain position, and the third one would be a lack of chemistry, which starts a lot of times with your center in franchise, which they spoke about last year. So for me, when I was using the Seahawks, I knew that my whole line pretty much sucked. There wasn't a saving grace on that line. So every single play, I had to be looking for my first target, my second target, and the third one would be a lane to run through with Russell Wilson. I've never had to consider that in a football game. Maybe All-Pro. But All-Pro, it had to be a drastic. It had to be like a gold star versus like a no star. For you to have to...
Or generic, yeah.
In Madden, I mean, you facing Aaron Donald, you're in for it. Unless you have an all-pro lineman. If you're facing a Khalil Mack. Hell, I faced the Dolphins, and Cameron Wake was the only guy on that line killing me.
Hold on. As of this recording, man, Rex Dixon...
I was just about this shit.
Wait, what?
Yo, Rex Dixon is having the time of his life right now.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I sent you the tweet on Twitter. Yo, shout out to Rex Dixon, man. This dude he's away from EA and just having fun.
Yeah, shout out to Rex. Rex was the man.
If I try to share it on the screen, will it pop up when we do the recording, or when?
No, the only way to screen share, I actually gotta have the Twitter thing up on the. I only got what we have up.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have it up. I mean, I'm gonna tweak. I'm gonna learn it, but I know for sure I gotta have it up though.
Yeah, folks, we'll be retweeting that image.
Yeah,
so you guys will see it on the timeline in real time.
That's funny.
I know that. I mean, that's a great one.
It's funny. Just as you were saying that, I was gonna click save, and I just saved the image and was about to. Yeah, that is hilarious.
Oh,
Bills, you see it?
I saw it. I saw it. Oh Lord.
Oh, that's crazy.
But yeah, you really have to invest in a good offensive line in this game. This is the first time it's really been a must. There's so many various animations that will happen in order for your line to break down, and it's just people complain about insta sheds. I can't run the ball.
Man, they need to shut up. If they can't handle insta shed, then they need to not be playing a football game. Period.
Let's be honest. Insta sheds are really just sheds. Because if you watch football every Sunday, you'll see that insta sheds are just sheds.
Yep.
The only thing that's instant about them is the fact that you're not prepared to throw the ball or read defenses.
No kidding.
That's the only thing that's instant about it.
You know what's funny? Just to talk about reading defenses, I know the thing to throw at recently renewed quarterback RG3 said he can't read defenses. What about all these Madden players that complain about insta-sheds that can't read a defense to save their life? Look, it's 1 option, 2 option, go.
Thank you.
That's it. That's all you need to figure out.
I would love to see some of these dudes try to survive on backbreaker before the Great House patch.
Oh my God! No, these dudes could not survive backbreaker.
Hell
Absolutely
no.
not.
Hell no.
Absolutely not.
They could have survived after the Great House patch, let alone before it.
I mean, that was literally 1-2 go. It's like if nobody's open, you even taking the sack or you throwing that ball away.
Yeah.
Or you just better force it to somebody.
That's it.
They would have more of a chance surviving Brokeback Mountain than backbreaker.
No, come on, man.
Man.
Here we go.
See, you just wow.
If that's Mountain Dew in the background, folks, that's not beer.
Hey, I don't judge. But
where do we even go from there?
I don't know, man. I'm lost.
Yeah, you guys missed me. I know.
Oh man. So tips. Let's get to some tips. Okay,
you got it. I'm gonna tell you my tip right now. Just learn the game of football. But you go ahead. I'm gonna be honest. If you know the game of football, you'll be successful on Madden or All Pro. That's all I'm gonna say.
Folks, if you heard our party chat the other day, you would have learned really quickly that VF would be the most abusive coach in the history of football coaches.
Yep.
And basketball coaches as well. He'd be even worse.
He will hit your son or daughter with a chair.
He's been quoted as saying, "Get your bitch ass off the court." He's been quoted as saying, "Get your bitch ass on the bench."
Man, hold on. We talking about tips, man. We ain't talking about all that, man.
No. Well, here's a tip: don't have VF as your coach.
Amen to that.
Especially youth sports, maybe in middle school sports, but I don't know. I don't even know the system will allow him to coach after all that.
Midnight.
Yes.
You know what?
I call that man Bobby Midnight.
You know what? I ain't got time for this, man. I ain't got time.
Kids don't got time to get abused like that, son. Can't be just snatching people up. This ain't the JBA.
I could totally imagine him telling his son to try to run him over, and then he goes and knocks the hell out of his son, and they're driving in the car home, and he's like, I'm gonna tell Crystal you.
Now hold on, what the hell is going on? What happened to the tips of Madden?
Or I can see him tying his son's hands behind his back, teach him how to take a punch, just going on.
You know what, man?
Kid could be sitting there with a black guy. Stop being a bitch.
Y'all ain't shit, man. It ain't my fault these motherfuckers can't play, man.
Oh, now you want to be R-rated.
Right. But before you was PG footballer.
Nope. He's
parental guidance footballer.
Listen, man. I'm over here.
We gonna get on these Madden tips, man. All right.
Finally.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. So the first one is, if you can't run a ball, make sure that your line isn't complete shit. I would say that's the first thing. Mm-hmm. The second one would be, make sure the defensive line in the front seven you're playing is one that you should be running the ball effectively on. Because quite frankly, in this day and age, if there's a defense designed to stop your running back, you're not going to be able to run the ball.
Well,
that's just how it is.
Let me add on to that. Also know what type of runs your line is better at doing and executing. There are two different ratings this year for blocking. It's finesse and there's what it turns out to be finesse and power, but it's basically zone and power.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So if your team, like my team, I looked them over, my offensive line, and they're better at zone blocking. So I'm gonna run mostly zone type runs.
Certain teams you have to run out of shotgun. You just have to.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to. That's just, and I mean, you're seeing a lot of teams these days run out of shotgun anyway. You're not seeing teams line up in, these power formations, and I mean, on short, in third and short or whatever, fourth and short. Obviously, you're gonna see that, but you're not gonna see Saquon Barkley lining up in the backfield behind a fullback running straight at the defense anymore. It's not gonna happen very often. So you have to really know, like DJ said, what are your linemen good at? Are they good at blocking for power runs, or are they good at blocking for zone runs?
Yeah, but that goes back to, I can't speak for play now, but I know in franchise, the scheme fit really caters to stuff like that.
Yes, absolutely.
They really cater to stuff like that. So, with that being said, once again, guys,
Always sliders.
If you're playing Madden, stuff like this matter. You just can't put the game in and just say, "Oh, my lineman sucks." No, you need to look and see what team you have and what fits for that player.
There are sliders. There are difficulty settings.
Yeah, and that right guard may not be a good run blocker. Hey, they have the matchup stick where you can see this type of stuff. Yes. This is not hard. Yes. You look at the matchup stick and you see that circle under the player. If it's red, don't get mad at Clint when he's not blocking.
Also, considering this, are you doing one of those things that a lot of Madden players like to do, running the hurry up for no apparent reason? Is your line tired? There's a lot of factors.
They don't, I mean, this is the first Madden that I've noticed that these things are playing out that way. One of the best ways, I can't say it enough, if you're playing franchise mode, you may not even a franchise mode guy. If you go and play franchise mode and just play a preseason game, you will get to see your starters, and then you will get to see the second tier guys play. And trust me, you will see a difference between those players.
Yep.
It's like night and day.
Yeah.
What other tips you got, Bills?
If you're having trouble throwing the ball, the first thing I would suggest would be to learn the timing of plays and routes. And I'm talking about learning the timing and plays of routes based on different looks that the defense is giving you. Learn how the timing will be against press man on the outside. Learn how the timing will be against a cover 2. Learn how the timing will be against a cover 2 sink. Learn how the timing will be against a cover 3. You have to learn all these things, and you have to learn where your weak points are on your offensive line. Because if you don't know these things, of course you won't be able to pass the ball.
No, and not only that, with real player movement, you have to watch your receiver and what type of route they're running and what kind of steps they're making to get into that route. Yep. Like when they do a cut to the outside, it's not just a quick pass like it used to be. You have to watch what kind of movement they do before you throw that ball. It's just going to be off.
Yep. Learn the pass types also. And learn whether your quarterback can actually make all of those throws, because I have experienced it. Certain quarterbacks, like Sam Darnold, I tried to do a couple of low throws with him. Didn't work. Tried to throw a couple out routes. Didn't work. So some quarterbacks can make all the throws, and some quarterbacks can only make simple throws. So you have to know that about your quarterback.
And then on top of that, you also want to know what type of routes, what the ratings as far as your routes that are being ran as far as per individual receiver.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it doesn't matter what kind of real player movement is in the game. If your guy can't run routes, then it's going to show.
Right. They got short, medium, and deep route running this year as far as ratings on these receivers. Yep. So, got to know who your short guys are, got to know who your intermediate guys are, and you definitely got to know who your deep guys are.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, I love Julio Jones, but as of right now, Calvin Ridley is showing off that he's a better route runner than Julio Jones. As physical as he is, Calvin Ridley is just specialized for that as a rookie. Now, that's not to say that Julio is not running routes in the game. It's just that those routes, those same type of routes in the slot that Calvin Ridley's doing, they just look and they feel, and when you throw the ball to them, you get higher success with Calvin Ridley running those routes compared to Julio just bodying up on people and being physical. Yep. It's just the way it is.
Go ahead.
Yeah, because I can sit here and tell you from playing with the Redskins, I can tell you from left to right, if I'm in like, let's say, 3 wide receiver set with 1 tight end, I can tell you exactly who's going to go deep, which are our 2 outside guys. Those are deep threats. I don't know what I haven't looked at their ratings just to let y'all know, but playing with them, they've been able to handle deep routes a lot better than they've been able to handle short routes. My short guy is Crowder. Mm-hmm. He will juke people while running these routes, so he's my short guy. He's my double route guy, short. And then my intermediate guy is going to be Jordan Reed. I can run verticals. I can run outs with him. I could run flats with them and let them catch it and make plays in the open field. So if you know that about your offense as far as your receivers and even your backs, I'm like, if I have Chris Thompson, my fault. Yep. If I have Chris Thompson in the backfield, I know I can use screens with them. I can run the angle route with them. I can run the flat route, or you call it a dummy route. And I've been able to run the jet with them that has been successful. So you just gotta know your personnel.
Yep.
You gotta do what? Hold on. You gotta do what?
Know your personnel.
You hear that, guys who are interested in Madden? We're playing football now. Know your personnel.
Yeah, I mean, there are a couple, and that goes into what I was about to say, which is knowing matchups.
It matters. It matters.
If you don't think that you should try Jalen Ramsey all game, then don't try Jalen Ramsey all game.
And don't get mad and tell Clint when he picks you off.
Right. Because it's like, the thing is, there's another thing to that too, though. Jalen Ramsey's going to play your receiver in a multitude of different ways. He might shade your receiver inside on one play, and this is a computer doing this. He might shade your receiver to the outside on another play. He might play over the top. He might press the next play. So it's like there's a lot of different things that you need to do. Be patient. Don't try to force throws where they're not. I mean, for example, people used to be able to chuck the ball up the seam all they wanted to. Can't do it no more. If you see a safety nowhere near the seam, most likely they're tricking you and baiting you into throwing that ball. It's not going to work.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's not going to work. So all these things are things you need to know. Sometimes you just have to check it down. It may suck. You might want to break off a big play, but you have to check it down sometimes to your back, to your tight end. Sometimes you have to take off, but you have to know when to take off.
Yeah.
Make sure you cover up the ball. Make sure you dive, slide, get out of bounds, things like that.
I think at the end of the day, people just need to know what they're doing when they're playing football. You're just not going to just do something and get that outcome you used to get in these older games.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, hell, I love Madden 07, Madden 08 on the original Xbox. Y'all know I'm a big original Xbox fan. Mm-hmm. But I know as advanced that game was for its time, that game was limited, so I expected certain outcomes. I still love the game. Mm-hmm. Hell, I still even play it. But I know that my X's and O's, the bit that I do know about it, it doesn't apply to that game. Mm-hmm. It just can't. I mean, the game's just not that advanced to do so, but it's a fun game.
Yeah.
This game, you have to do a little bit more. You're not going to play these games like you did in the past.
Yeah, I mean,
you're just not.
If you're having trouble stopping the run, you have to pay attention to what your guys' block shedding ratings are. You have to pay attention to what type of defense you're running.
Hell, sometimes you just have to put 8 in the box and hope your DBs do something.
Yeah, you have to. And sometimes you have to, if you're in franchise, invest in a pass rusher or a guy who can do both.
Yeah, especially if you have a team that don't have one.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine somebody has like a third-rate defensive end and they're wondering why they can't tackle nobody, and they're raging out on Twitter, or they're just tripping because they think we're wrong because your third-string defensive end don't do what he's supposed to do.
Yeah.
He's a third string for a reason.
And also, it goes back to your scheme. If you got two ends that are pure pass rushers and can't really get off blocks unless they're making moves to get towards the quarterback, then you shouldn't have a question why you can't stop the run.
That goes back to scheme fits.
Yeah, that goes back to scheme fits. It's a clear correlation to scheme fits. So folks got to pay attention to that too. If you're having trouble stopping the pass, are your guys man cover guys, zone cover guys? Once again, the pass rush. Are you getting a pass rush? Know what zones work against certain plays. Cover 3, you can't really go wrong, I would say. Cover 2, the safeties you have to have pretty much a Pro Bowl safety for cover 2 to work.
Well, I'll tell you one thing you don't need to be doing in cover 2 is bring down your safeties.
No, do not.
Not like that.
That
not
is the
like
last thing you need to be doing.
Yeah, not like that guy that was claiming that something's wrong with the game when he bought the safeties down on cover 2 and wonder why the tight end burnt both of them.
Yeah.
What do you expect?
Sometimes your corners are going to press and sometimes they're not going to press. That's similar to cover 2 in real life. You're not always going to get a press in cover 2.
You're not going to get a blanket outcome in every play.
No.
Especially, I mean, these players that are in Madden 19, they seem like they have some different type of DNA in them to do different things at different times.
Mm-hmm.
That just goes back to certain animations to certain people.
Yep.
Or certain things going to happen to certain players.
Mm-hmm.
I think at the end of the day, this is what people wanted in their football game, right? Am I wrong?
That's what they claimed.
I think the game is pretty much. I can't say it's a masterpiece. I can't say that because NHL is not on NHL's level. But this is a damn good football game, and I'm not exaggerating. This is serious. Y'all need to rent it, red box it, game fly it, 7-day GameStop rental,
EA
I would
Access,
say EA
Origin, Access Premier.
Thug somebody in a giveaway like DJ did.
Well, unfortunately, that's not going to happen this year. I wanted to so much, but
yeah. Mm-mm. The point is, try the damn game.
Pretty much.
Well,
I mean, if you claim you're a football fan, try the game.
I would. You know what? I wouldn't even guilt trip people into doing it. If they wanna act like a baby and not play it because it doesn't fit their image. That's their own damn fault.
Man, damn that guilt trip stuff. I'm telling you right now, football is in Madden 19, and if you like football, you don't care about the company who makes a good football game. Point blank.
Yeah.
And if you're going to sit there and stay on the sidelines because of a company, that means to tell me you wasn't about sim football to begin with.
Yeah, I look at the people who say they can't run the ball, they can't do this, they can't do that. I look at them the same way I look at people who say, "Oh, it's so hard to hit an MLB show." You have some practice.
Not only that,
you have some practicing to do.
I mean, but not only that, I do give props to some people who say they can't do things, and they're honestly out here reaching out for help,
trying to learn. Yes.
Yeah, I do, because everybody don't have some sort of football acumen. A lot of people just grew up playing video game football and watching football on TV. Yep. That's natural. Everybody didn't play sports like us three did.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. But at the same time, it's like, if you're willing to come out here and tell us, like, look, I don't know how to do this. Like, even though Mark Rader had an issue, he did listen to your feedback about getting the sliders.
Mm-hmm.
I respect that. Even though he's a Debbie Downer at times, I respect people who do that, because it's like, well, I really want to play this game. It's not that game breaking. How can I enhance it? You just have some people saying, oh, this is not 2K, so I'm not touching it. Well, suit yourself. There's nothing I can do with that.
Hey, I've gone to DJ for advice in NHL.
No, if it wasn't for DJ, I wouldn't be playing NHL.
Yeah.
I'm glad you finally acknowledged that, Diaz.
Oh, hold on. Time out. I've always admitted that. Don't do that. Don't do that. I've always admitted that.
You know I gotta continue to take shots since you warmly welcomed me back onto the show after being gone for 2 weeks. So these shots will continue to arrive just when you least suspect it.
Anyway, NBA 2K19. Y'all ready to jump to that?
Wait, man. There's one thing just because remember we had something else come with this patch with Madden 19, and I'll just speak on it for a quick moment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what also came with this patch was Colin Kaepernick's name being edited in.
It should have never left. I don't mind speaking on that for a minute. It shouldn't have never left.
Okay.
And I hate the fact that it did, but
mm-hmm.
No, I'm gonna let you go. Because I think I know where you're going with this.
Yeah, because you was about to take over once again. You have this bad habit of doing that. But anyway. Okay, so my main thing with that is that I look at Twitter, I look at the different news agencies, and even Pro Football Today, even they first started tweeting it out, is that we continue to blame the pawn for why that all happened, because it did happen last year, and everyone wants to blame Electronic Arts, they want to blame EA. They won't be like, oh, no, how dare they, because it's the easy thing to do. Well, for me personally, I'm not gonna put all the blame on the pawn, because the pawn is responsible in their own way. They play a role in this, but everyone needs to really start looking at the NFL like they were doing when it came to the fact that Colin Kaepernick hasn't signed a contract, hasn't been able to sign a contract. Shoot, hell, it seems like he's not even being offered a contract at this point. And this has been going on ever since his last year in San Francisco when he took the knee in protest of police brutality, not the anthem. He just chose the anthem as a time when to protest. That's all that was.
You hear that, Dak Prescott?
God, the Dallas Cowboys, yeah, they really... But soon enough, the Washington Redskins will follow suit because Daniel Snyder is on that tip too. But I do look at the fact that we have to hold the main source responsible for why that even took place in Madden, and that's the NFL. Because the NFL is they pretty much review the game. They review everything about. Well, go ahead.
No, I'm saying no tiptoe. It is 100% their fault.
Oh no! I'm not tiptoeing it. I'm going into the little nitty bitty about it, and it's just like, you know, people want to continue to put all the blame on EA. They want to put all the blame on like a Nike or an Adidas. But you notice when they're partnered up with the NFL has the final say.
Absolutely.
That's why there's no concussions in the game. That's what I'm like. They tried to educate people on concussions. The final 2 years, they had it in the game, and then they took it out completely because they don't want to be sued. In the end, it's all about money.
Listen. It doesn't matter who had the NFL game. 2K could have had this game. 989 Sports could have had it. San Diego Sports.
Same thing would have happened.
Same thing would have happened. You cannot blame EA. And it might sound like a white knight, and I don't care, but it's the truth. EA, this is what happens when you have the exclusive license. It doesn't matter who had that license. The NFL did that to Colin Kaepernick, which is fucking a disgrace because we already know what's going on here. At first, I did not care for Colin Kaepernick getting the job. Honestly, I thought he was not that good to get signed. But everybody has a right to get a job. But once I start hearing all this other stuff about collusion and owners are coming together to tell people not to sign, that's completely wrong. I don't care if he protests or not. There shouldn't be any situation where an employer and you have like unions involved where a player cannot be signed just because you don't like what he's doing, which is absolutely legal. He's never been in trouble. He's never done anything wrong. But just because you don't like what he's doing, y'all want to collude to get him out of the league. But therefore, you're still trying to sign guys who are domestically abusing women and stuff?
Yep.
This is the type of shit. This shit doesn't make sense. I mean, you got guys who are literally self-harming themselves with drugs, and they're getting their 4th and 5th and 6th chance back in the league. This guy does nothing wrong but just try to bring awareness to what's going on in these streets. And y'all want to blackball him? I mean, that goes against what... I mean, that doesn't go against, but that goes to another topic about this song. The song should have never been bleeped out in 18 or 19. It's just ridiculous. But don't blame EA. I give them zero accountability. I don't blame them at all. It's not their fault. It's absolutely not their fault.
I'll give them partial blame because they could have been like, you know what? But again, it goes. They signed a contract with the NFL, so it's just like they have to.
That's what I'm saying. It's like I'm not sitting here and saying that, you know, EA is not 100% free of it because they did it. But you also have to understand why they did it. It's like, look, I mean, we're partners with the company that's given us all of the assets to make this game. So, you know, and I'm telling you, I'm pretty sure EA didn't just come about themselves and just say, oh, we're going to put his name back in. The NFL and EA had to talk about this before they put it back in.
But here's the bad part is that you have people out here that actually believe it's all EA. EA was the one that edited their name. And I was like, that's the dumbest shit I have ever heard in my entire life. If you believe that it was all EA, that sat there and edited out the song, that took him out the game last year, took him out, and he's not even in the game this year. I heard he was in the beta for a little bit, and then all of a sudden he disappeared again.
Yeah, but isn't he still under NFLPA?
See, that's why I was asking. Right now, I'm not getting any type of real answers. I heard that he wasn't. I heard that he still is. I'm like, but here's another thing. If you look at the fact that, and Bills, you answered this. I asked you this question. I think you confirmed it. Eric Reed is still in the game, right?
As far as I know.
Yeah, now, he was part of the protest too. Yeah. So it's just like, so you mean to tell me there's not even consistency here? You're gonna go after Colin Kaepernick, but not his teammate at the time that was protesting.
So it's just like the consistency is clear. The consistency is they're colluding to try to keep this man out of the name.
Yeah, but they're not even consistent with that, because then, I know right now Eric Reed is having a hard time finding a job too, but they didn't take him out the game, the video game. So it's just like the consistency isn't there all the way around. So what are they going to do next? They're going to hear this podcast and be like, you know what? We did forget one. So
I wouldn't be surprised. Bills, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts are the NFL is full of shit, and anybody who continues to sit here and defend them is full of shit as well.
I can't say how you defend that.
Well, it's very easy. When you are born into standism,
Trump's NFL. That's what it is.
Trump's NFL, Trump's America.
Borderline, yeah. Especially with the NFL part.
I mean, just listen to people come out. That's right. You shouldn't protest the anthem.
And it's not even about the anthem.
It's not even about the anthem. And it's not about disrespecting the troops. It's not about any of what they're making it out to be. But what they like to do is water down a message, because watering down the message makes it so the message gets it gets a meaning that isn't exactly what the meaning started out as.
And see, that's what's my problem with the kneeling thing. And we're not necessarily opposed to it, but I always figured out, once they tried to change the subject of what was going on, you have to take the next step and keep the problem in their face. That's why what Malcolm Jenkins did when he was at his locker room and he had those signs. There's no discrepancy about what's going on there. You cannot change the narrative. You cannot change the message. Mm-hmm. You cannot change what he's protesting. Mm-hmm. You cannot change the facts. So I was all for the whole thing about kneeling, but when they try to change the narrative, you gotta stay on their ass. And that's what Malcolm Jenkins took it to that level. He had hard-hitting statistics about people being locked up, people being incarcerated, people being brutalized, people being shot and killed by police. They cannot escape what Malcolm Jenkins was doing. They can't escape that. That's how, if you want change to happen, you need to take it to that next level. And I commend Malcolm Jenkins for that, because nobody can't misconstrue or change what he did.
And now what the NFL is trying to do is take the head off the snake by pretty much removing any memory of Colin Kaepernick.
Right. See, that's what I'm saying. It's like you gotta stay on it to the point where they can't ignore it. They can't ignore it, they can't change it. And like if Malcolm Jenkins continues to do what he was doing, you can't get away. You cannot say, oh, he put no signs up, he's disrespecting the troops. No, this ain't got nothing to do with troops. You can't say it has anything to do with the flag. He's showing you statistics in your face. Facts, numbers. Numbers don't lie. You cannot change that. Now let's try to get some change.
And shout out to Jarrell Casey, who said he will continue to protest regardless of fines or anything like that. He does not give a fuck. That is exactly how I would be. And a lot of these other players should be the same.
You know what? And I'm with him for that, because I know he's protesting for the right cause. But I can't say what's on his mind. I can't say what's on other players' mind. But this is another thing that I was talking about. This whole thing about doing this thing during the anthem, it has come to a point where it looks like that it's about, I'm going to do this because the owners are saying they don't, that I should, or the NFL saying that I shouldn't, compared to the actual message of police brutality.
Right.
And that's where I'm kind of getting away from the whole kneeling during the anthem or protesting, because now it seems like oh, I'm going to do it and I'm going to get fined. I don't give a fuck. It's like you're just being defiant to those guys, and people are still getting brutalized in the streets.
Yeah, because a lot of the people that all of a sudden decided to protest, they only decided to protest the moment Trump even said anything, and that's what made it worse.
Exactly. That's just another part of changing the narrative, changing what's going on. They don't want to talk about these police officers shooting and killing unarmed black men. They don't want to talk, so they change the narrative. Okay, you want to do that? Let me give you some statistics behind that. Now, ain't nobody could change what the hell Malcolm Jenkins did. You know what happened when Malcolm Jenkins did that? You know what Trump did when Malcolm Jenkins did? All of a sudden, Trump's like, well, you give me a list of people that you feel that are unjust, and I'll see about pardoning them. No. We're not talking about that. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I don't believe he'll do it, but that's the type of stuff that needs to happen. But I don't believe he'll do it. What really needs to happen, we need to police these police out here on the street, because regardless, people are locked up. That's signed, sealed, and delivered. We don't know what's going to happen to little Johnny that's outside just selling ice cream or something.
The government is too busy. The government is too busy dropping distractions weekly.
Exactly.
For anybody's fucking attention span to deal with it.
And I can't say it again. If you throw facts in their face over and over again, they can't run from that. If you give them a little out for them to change what you're trying to say, they're going to take it. You know, that's the way I look at it.
Now,
I don't know.
Now, one final thing, because I know we got to wrap this up and move on. But one final thing I would say, and this is me personally, as a United States military veteran, there's nothing that says what you have to do during the national anthem. So to sit there and say what someone should do during the national anthem is something of a personal projection that you're trying to place upon based on your experience may not be their experience. And yeah. I say during the anthem, do whatever you want, but understand what you're doing it for.
Right.
And why you're doing it. Never forget, and always make sure that message never is shouted down by any other message that may detract from the point.
I got a funny nugget for you. So I went yesterday to the Big Three that was in town. Okay? And
I heard that was a great game too.
Shit was fucking whack. But anyway, let me tell you what I didn't hear yesterday. Because they didn't do the national anthem. You want to know what I didn't hear? Hey, are we going to do the national anthem? Hey, they didn't do the national anthem. Wait, aren't we supposed to be standing up now? So all these motherfuckers sitting there complaining, hey, you ain't be standing up for the national. Shut the fuck up. Because y'all were at the game yesterday and y'all said nothing.
And you know what? I wouldn't be so. I'll have no problem if they get rid of the national anthem. In the NFL games.
I prefer it.
It's not even supposed to be there.
I loved it yesterday.
The NFL is getting paid by the government to do this.
I loved it. I was like, yo, Jomo, I don't think they're going to do the national anthem. Thank God. Because I planned on sitting down again.
I mean, I have no problem with it. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's no other place in the world I'd rather be. I love being here.
Right.
But I don't want to be dealing with people who are at odds with each other over something that's...
Of course.
I mean, let's be honest. At the end of the day, it's borderline frivolous at this point because they took Colin's message and destroyed it.
And more importantly, proof yesterday was you are there for a sporting event. Because if you weren't, I would have heard people say, why didn't they do the national anthem? Why ain't we standing up putting our hands over our hearts? Where's that shitty-ass, racist-ass anthem we were waiting for? I didn't hear anybody asking for the anthem yesterday. So people can sit the fuck down with that, you need to stand for the anthem. You were going to the concession stand when the anthem was going on, but you're going to sit and talk shit to me. Please, miss me with that. I don't want to hear it.
One last thing. I know I said the last thing earlier.
No.
I was doing the Caps parade. They played the national anthem, but I was looking around. I seen people doing everything. I'm like, of course, there were no chairs. There's no place to sit. But everybody was like, there were people still carrying on conversations. There were people just doing whatever. Of course, I only say that because hockey is mostly white. So it's one of those things where it's good for you, but all of a sudden when somebody else of a different color or whatever background does the same exact thing, now it's a problem.
Yeah.
Just gonna put that out there.
Yeah. I mean, it's like quit trying to police patriotism.
Yeah, because paid and forced patriotism is not patriotism.
It's like when you're sitting in class and they're like, say something good. It's like when you're sitting in class and they're like, say something good about the person sitting next to you. You're like, I don't fuck with them.
Yeah, they were that same 65 crew.
Oh. So, anyway, NBA 2K19.
Exactly. So there's a blog or interview or article from Forbes. It was a little bit of everything, but it has a little bit of everything in regard to basketball. Talking about my league, my GM, create a player. DJ, you've been all over this ever since 2K17. 2K17. You've been on my league
since 2K15.
You've been on it. I mean, I've been on it too, but not as deep as you had, because you know a little bit more than I do, because I've been playing older franchise modes. You know, I'm an old head. But I want you to, you can kick it off with what's in this article.
Well, I'm going to say with what I've always said. Where do we begin? Where do we even jump into, and where does it really end? And when is it going to end? I don't think this type of involvement in making this mode the best franchise mode on earth is going to stop anytime soon. I literally, after this blog, had to smoke a cigarette, even though I don't smoke. Actually, I didn't smoke a cigarette, but anyway, it has that feeling. It was a lot to really... So I'm just going to jump in at the main... Like, the first part of it basically just went over how much more control you will have over your franchise mode. Stuff that, blogs like this make you realize what was missing last year, even though you really didn't think about it. But it makes you think about it, like, oh, I didn't have control over this? Oh, now I have control over this? Like, they had trade sliders. I'm just reading the headlines. Contract sliders, progression sliders. There were some progression sliders last year, but not to the level that they're... They added in an all-new created player feature, and then going into, the mode. My GM has two separate options. You can do the Saga Continues, or you can do a regular traditional My GM mode. They added in difficulty level of the GM mode. Man, it's just too much. So
I'm just scrolling through it. And I'm like,
I'm scrolling through, hitting each headline. You got new NBA draft. I'm like, there was always an NBA draft in there, but they're putting a different twist to it. And one of the little twists is historical draft classes. Now I'm sure Bills can get into that after I'm done with this part. The part that really stuck out to me was player mentorships. To my knowledge, this hasn't been done in any games. I know MLB was the closest, but it was more or less dealing with where, like, if a player was from the same country, they would feel better about where they were at, what team they were on, if they had people from their fellow birthplace or hometown place from. So player mentorships pretty much is you take a veteran player, and you pair them up with a younger player so they can either train better, they can feel better about the team that they're on. I'm like, these are a lot of things that, they happen in sports games. And
Time out.
What?
I'm reading this now. This thing says you have pre-created draft classes for the following drafts: 1960, 1965. Mm-hmm. Now, are you trying to tell me that these draft classes are everybody from that era that's in there?
It says and more.
You know what? These guys have been playing. These guys have been paying attention to UBR 2K14, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. This is amazing because I know they know this guy has draft classes from all the way back to 1950 something, and he has them in the game. This guy's done an amazing job. Ultimate NBA 2K, that's his Twitter. Excellent job with modding NBA 2K14. But I'm just reading it. I'm like, this is amazing. So you can put these draft classes in your current franchise. Oh, that's amazing. That is dope. Because it even says like 1976 to 2017.
Mm-hmm.
All of the man list.
You can pretty much reinvent the history of the NBA with these draft classes. That's what it's looking like. So
I'm a sim guy, and I love doing things organically. But that right there is that's beautiful right there. That's great. I love that. That's good.
All right. So continuing on, other things that headline, you got traded player exceptions. The new All-Star format is going to be in this year's franchise mode. New Summer League, I guess they're going to, all the 30 NBA teams will participate. And here's another thing that stuck out. Injury history menu. So no longer are you, well, first and foremost, they're stat tracking once you start the mode and forward. They're not tracking backwards. The discussion about that was that it was going to be too much, so they scrapped it in favor of this option. So it's going to be nice when you're playing like multiple seasons to look back, and this will definitely affect your decision making as far as like whether you want to sign a guy to a longer term deal. You'll notice that he's been having these type of injuries and stuff like that, and that's already over top of the wear and tear system that's already in the game, which right. I believe all other games should have a wear and tear system. Madden, anybody? But anyway,
yeah, I agree.
All right, so the next thing they also have is draft pick tracking. That not much to that.
Not much, but one thing about it, you can trade picks for over the next 5 years.
Yeah, that's
great.
Yeah, because NHL has something like that. I don't know if the other sports games had it. I think because I know Madden, it was like what the next 2 years you could, at the most, that you could trade a draft pick, or next year or something like that. Whatever the case was. So, but here's the thing that is going to be interesting, because I think for the last 2 years, my league has had rule changes. That were randomized and were voted on as you played your My League and you got to the off season. Now, they leave it up to you. You can choose your own rule change. And let's see.
If it was up to me, the first thing I'll do, Bills will probably agree with me on this. First thing I'll do if I could do a rule change, I'll put illegal defense back in the game.
Make people play man defense. Get rid of zone defense. I would I would have to get rid of zone defense in order to make that.
Yeah, damn right. That's what I'm saying.
Make everybody play man-to-man defense.
Yep, I would do it.
And people who had no business being in the NBA because they can't play defense will no longer be in the NBA. They'll be in the JV.
It would be interesting to see how that would play out in a video game setting for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be NBA 2K2 all over.
Because the floor would be spaced differently.
Oh, yeah.
And then what 2K would have to do, they would have to disable a lot of their defensive settings for you.
Well, that is true. They'll probably have to code the whole game over it, if you think about it.
Yeah.
Some people may like that. You know how people talk about starting brand new with games.
Because, well, people are trying to do that with Madden now. You know how that's going right now.
I know. All right.
Anyway.
So new rule changes. See, they talked about when enable 18s, the playoff seeding. Now that would be nice. That would be nice. Yeah, me and Bills, we talked about this before. That to have that in the game. Now we're really going to see how things will play out if we instituted that rule and see which teams get left out, because it makes it possible that you have teams in the East and the West play each other in the first round, possibly, if we get everybody to make the playoffs and then reseed everybody.
Right.
So
they should have done that a long time ago.
I agree.
So the next one was player DNA.
It works beautiful in the NCAA tournament, but
Yeah, because so the next one they have is player DNA. That one is Bills is definitely gonna love this one because
you mean they stole from Live?
Not that player DNA. Not
no,
that.
I'm just messing.
I know, right? It's funny.
You mean like they stole Kyrie's moves from Live, right?
See, I knew he was gonna do that. Oh,
you already know.
But yeah, when I first read Player DNA, I was thinking it was actually one of Live's features, but also at the same time, during that same time, they had a couple of people that have jumped ship from Live to 2K. So, you know, a lot of people want, as far as that whole, oh, well, they stole it from Live. Well, talk to the two people that were working at Live that probably didn't get their ideas pushed through and jump ship to 2K.
Oh, well, man, let's be honest. I mean, when Live 10 was out, I mean, Mike Wing basically did that game.
Wang.
When he left...
You said Wing. Wang.
Whatever.
Wang.
Too busy thinking about Giga Wing over there.
Hey, that's the game.
Well,
hey, that's the
wings.
game.
That's what he's really thinking about.
No, we're not thinking about no goddamn chickens
Oh,
down here in
my.
South Carolina. We're not thinking about them sorry ass chickens. Now, Giga Wing, yeah. Chicken wing, them bitches could go in the goddamn frying pan.
Oh, my
Anyway.
God.
Hey, you like them fried anyway.
Damn right. Not on the football field. Fried. Anyway, see, you don't try my train of thought. Oh, when Mike Wang, when he left, and you could tell, I ain't gonna say you could tell, but it's possibly that he took some people from EA with him to go over to 2K. I can't say for certain. But maybe he went to 2K and said, look, I know this person that's at EA, yada, 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 let's try to get him over too. So, you never know.
Shout out to Scott OG. But, let's see, what and this blog pretty much just wraps up with, you have updated draft lottery, more draft picks for trading, and here's one that I think that Bill's liked, and he pointed out, was user controllable season awards. It doesn't, to me, it doesn't really mean anything, but because I like to have things play out organically, but
no, Bill's more the on the fly lineups type guy.
Well, that one is pretty. I like the fact that you can finally customize it, because you used to be able to customize those quick lineups in the past. I'm glad they brought that back.
I wonder if you could. I wonder if you could rename them.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, I would definitely.
Because it was like a few 2Ks, they took them out. Like you could go tall, go small, or fast, or 3-point.
Or the 12, right? What was it? The bench lineup.
Yeah,
I call them the
bench lineup.
Because I definitely named one garbage time, bro.
Like
yeah, see, but
lineup.
I'm saying they used to have it where they were already in the game like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
I know they have them now, but I think they have one that's starters, 3-point. There's another one that's free throws. That's for the end of the game, and then I think there's one that's like bench or something like that.
Yeah, they need to have that for like dudes who like that are terrible.
Because see, with those preset lineups, a lot of people don't like to do that spreadsheet. Me and DJ love to do that damn spreadsheet, but a lot of people don't really understand it. So that would be an easier way for them to do their substitutions the way they want to without having to do the spreadsheet. Hell, even I might try it if it meant I didn't have to do the spreadsheet, because for a lot of teams it kind of gets strenuous at times.
Well, you got to think about it. I mean, look at this. We're talking about a game that you have to do spreadsheets and you have to do all these analytics. You have to do all these things to get the right outcome as far as putting the best talent on the field. We're not or the court.
Yep.
We're not just talking about NBA 2K. We're talking about MLB The Show. We're talking about NHL. We're talking about Madden now. I mean, it's safe. I mean, it's safe to say that these sports games overall are in a very good space right now, right or wrong. They're in a very good space.
I'm in full agreement with that.
Yeah, I mean, when you actually have to think about certain things you have to do in these games to play, you just can't pick up and play no more. That shit is for the NBA Playgrounds that's coming out. If you want to pick up and play, go play RBI baseball.
Right.
If you want to play NHL, I mean, I'm pretty sure they got a couple of NHL arcade games that are still pretty good.
Not arcade games, but the modes in NHL 19.
There you go. We're
gonna get to that in a second. There's one more thing I did want to talk about, since I didn't talk much about the blog. The one thing that stuck out to me was trade sliders, because a lot of times last year I would be trying to trade a player or trade for a player, and the value really didn't match up to what I think it should have. So now you can adjust that and really pretty much adjust what the computer looks for and players that they're trading for, how much value a player will have, whether they tend to go after guys based on their overall rating or, exactly what they're going after. I kind of like that addition. I really think that's going to trade. That's going to change the trade logic substantially, depending on what you emphasize.
Shout out to W. Kemp. Did you see that that tweet that he put out with Jimmy Graham?
No.
Check my Twitter. You'll see it. I just want y'all to see that. I don't know what y'all think real quick.
Ooh, excuse me. I have to actually find it. Wow. And while everyone's finding that, shout out to...
Nice. Oh, wow.
Well, one, shout out to W. Kemp, and shout out to, I'm going to just get to his name, Eric Banish for the blog. That's the guy behind the franchise mode for 2K. So.
Yeah. He's done a great blog, and we can go ahead and flip over. Well, I don't even want to talk about it. I talked about it last week. The article about franchise mode in NBA Live 19. Those two, if you're talking about writings, those two guys have put out very good information about both games, but it's kind of sad because one is talking about the enhancement of a game, the other one's talking about the regression of a game. I'm sorry, folks, and I don't want to dwell on this for too long. We can talk about NHL after this. I am very disappointed in NBA Live 19. I'm sorry. I try not to, really, dwell on it. I thought something was going to change my mind, but I still feel the same way last week. I'm very disappointed in it.
Oh, that's what happens when, and I hate to say this, I feel like Live is using the WNBA as a gimmick. I'm like
100%.
I just don't like the fact that these ladies are being used in that fashion, and I'm sure people are going to disagree with me. I'm sure if I was more popular on Twitter, I'm sure there'll be a lot of people that would be like, you need to ban his Twitter account, blah, blah. But no, because right now we have no franchise mode for either one, the WNBA or the NBA. For NBA Live, we have no franchise news, no franchise nothing. I'm like,
I don't even hear nothing about exhibition mode. Damn franchise. I don't hear nothing about.
Are we being honest? We haven't even got an official feature set for this game about as far as anything's concerned. If we really being honest,
I don't even know how to. I don't even know how the uniforms look on the actual NBA players.
Yeah, and just to be fair, there's been no gameplay from 2K either. So right now you got both of these companies doing their consumers disjustice.
A disservice.
So a disservice. Yeah. So it's just like
I agree. But you would think with how long I put it like this: 2 wrongs don't make a right. Both of them are wrong. Mm-hmm. But you would think with NBA, because NBA 2K is known for this shit. They're known for this. With NBA Live being so forthcoming, since they've been forthcoming with 16, hell, they even been forthcoming with 15. You would expect them to be forthcoming with 8. Well, they've been forthcoming with 18 as well. I did say that, I think. But anyway, they've been forthcoming with all those. You would think they'll be forthcoming with 19. But we don't see nothing inside the arena. We see everything outside. It looks. I think somebody on Twitter said it best. They're trying to do a more realistic NBA street. I think that's what they're doing. That's what it seems like to me.
That seems like they're aiming towards.
I think them using the females, similar to what DJ said, using the females to market their game is similar to when 2K was announcing who did the fucking playlist and shit. It has no impact to me. It has no impact to me. I don't like. They're not even, and we got into this last week as far as them dunking like they're fucking Zach LaVine and shit. But
oh Lord,
I don't like how they're doing it. It's really kind of bothering me how they're going about this.
I mean, it gets to the point where this game could just easily be WNBA Live.
At this rate,
I just look back at the fact that I remember when I tweeted out a video, I had my sister look at the WNBA portion of Live and how she was rashing it, and it was just like, okay, as a consumer, as a sports fan, and as a person that is all for equal opportunity, I'm glad that you got the ladies in the game, but do them right. Don't put in whatever. Of course you would say that, but they know what I'm saying.
You always catch it, so.
Anyway, But make sure you do right by them. Don't put animations in the game. Don't put stuff in the game, in the WNBA game, that doesn't make any sense. Like the whole discussion about like women dunking and stuff like that. There are women in there that dunk. They're rim grazers at best. Don't put somebody in there that can get their arm all above, get their head above the rim like they're Vince Carter. That's not realistic. That's not sim. So
exactly,
you have to, and then shoot. This is one that no one even talked about. The blocked dunk animation that was in the WNBA game last year. Oh yeah, I was playing live last year since I had it for free. I had to debo somebody for it. What's up, Shop? And there was a blocked dunk animation in the WNBA game. So hopefully, I would hope they got that out of there. But I think all in all, I just hate the fact that we don't really have anything solid as far as the franchise mode in NBA Live. We don't have. There's going to be gameplay coming out soon, I would take. But me being a franchise guy, I don't like the fact that franchise mode is not even a thought. And it may not, like, and this is a message directly to the NBA Live devs. I know a few of them are on Twitter. It's not that you're not thinking about franchise mode, it's the perception that you're not thinking about franchise mode that bothers people the most.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, it bothers me, but it's just, I'll take it a step further. I'm a franchise guy, but they're not even talking about exhibition mode.
They're not talking about anything.
Look, they're not even talking about their cash cow, the ultimate team aspect of life.
Bro, they're not
That's
talking
how bad
about
it is.
anything other than females being in the game. This is what they're running with right now.
But you know what? You know what makes it even worse? Is that everything is about online. Everything's about these courts all over the world. And you know, that's all fine and good. But if that's the only thing they've been throwing at people, and you have people that are eating it up, and it's just like, you know, okay, you like that, but you understand what it's doing overall to the game. They think all you guys care about is the online game and these street ball courts, and maybe the women. They don't care about any. They have consumers pegged as people that don't care about the core modes of live.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Exactly. I mean, the game is turned into just like some street ball.
Yeah.
And if that's your thing, that's fine. But you're not going to. It's gotten to the point that like they're kind of like giving up. They don't even want to compete with 2K.
Pretty much. I'm like, we don't even know if the offensive sets are going to be running anything. I'm still getting calling certain plays for certain players, and it goes to somebody else.
It reminds me of when Call of Duty took their boots off the ground and started fucking doing the jumping off walls and shit. It was almost like, yeah, we can't compete with Battlefield as far as the simulation aspect. So let's just create our own lane and hope it works.
Right. Exactly. I don't know. Anything else y'all want to add before we go? Still got some NHL stuff y'all want to talk about?
Yeah, we can get in that intro.
Yeah, we get in the NHL.
I mean, I think I bogged down. I think I'm going to end up going to just buy NHL 19, even though I still love 18. I think I'm going to just go ahead and get it. It looks great. I haven't played the beta still, but I know for me playing 18, I know I'm going to love 19.
RPM works in NHL too, even though they skate and slide over the ice.
Are you serious?
RPM
is in 19.
RPM is in 19, and
Yes.
RPM is very much in 19.
Yeah,
It's not just a marketing scheme the way people always...
Oh, no.
Bro.
No, just messing
It's
with
in
you.
FIFA.
know, right?
It's in FIFA. It's in NHL. It's in Madden. It's supposedly in NBA Live. Supposedly.
Yeah, that's the only gameplay thing we've heard about live is RPM.
Yeah. And that it's not on Frostbite.
Right. Well, that too.
They've
But
gone
we all
out of the
know
way to tell us
Frostbite-
what's not in the game.
Yeah, but we all know Frostbite is more about environments and stuff
Right,
like
yeah.
that. If
Yeah,
only they would get
yeah,
that
pretty
straight
much.
in Madden.
Oh, shit.
Year 2 in Frostbite, and still the crowd reacts the way they do.
I need that weather though.
No, the weather actually looks a lot different. I mean, not from this year, not from last year to this year, but since they put Frostbite, the weather does look like it was like you were on Battlefield 4. What was that map? That the storm, all of a sudden it will start storming.
Oh, yeah.
I'll say the degradation is really nice during rain games because now they kind of get dirty on their arms a little bit as opposed to just the equipment. So that was.
Now you have to forgive me. I haven't played in a weather-based game yet. So call me ignorant.
Yeah, by the fourth quarter you'll see them get dirty. On their arms and their hands will be dirty. Uniforms.
But I have to let people know they're not going to get as dirty as they used to because the way the fields are more synthetic now.
Yep.
To where they'll get dirty to a certain point, even.
I think Madden 12, NCAA 14, they get really dirty in that game too.
Yeah.
I think those around that era, you saw a lot of uniform degradation, or you got all of that good stuff.
Yeah, and in college football, you're going to see more degradation than you would any place else because they have more natural grass fields.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm. But NHL 19,
yep.
The modes. And we're going to talk about freestyle modes. I'm like, forget about the gameplay. Just
NHL is doing street shit better than NBA Live doing street shit.
Yes, that mode is good. It'll be the first freestyle online mode that I'll probably jump into. I know I said it about what was it, the EA SHL years ago, but I never really jumped into it. I am jumping in to the world of Chow. You will see me on there. I will be playing it this coming up year. Definitely, I think the addition of RPM makes it more possible. It makes it better for me because I'd rather have those gameplay elements in there in the online portion than without it.
And that's the thing is NHL's done such a good job of carrying those base gameplay additions into the mode and still having the sport be respected. Because you can't just go in there and cheese. You can try. It ain't gonna work.
Yeah. No.
Well, except if you're playing the threes. Threes you can cheese all day.
Oh, threes, yeah, you can just run into people.
And I was on fire on threes. Bills will tell you. Matter of fact, I could post a video.
Oh, we were killing dudes.
Except for the third dude just wouldn't pass the puck. He wouldn't specifically pass it to you. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, so I take it that's where I'm supposed to come in, right?
Shit. Yeah. Yeah, you are.
Yep.
We told you to download the damn beta.
Yeah,
is it over yet?
Yeah, it's over. I already deleted it off, but I had enough. I got enough footage. Yeah. But, and it was funny because me and Bills, we were playing hockey the way we were supposed to, we play hockey, but it's a problem in threes when it's two forwards that are playing offensive defense. When you have the defenseman that's kind of just hitting, like he's doing his thing, he's hitting people and stuff like that.
He was trying to set screens. I'm like, what is this man doing right now?
But at the same time, if you think about it, it is threes, so I'm like, do what you want. But it didn't really affect us because we played effective defense on the other end. Like I was coming in, poke checking the puck away from people on fast breaks.
Yep.
I'm like, that's a fundamental thing that I was able to do in the arcade mode. Definitely. So it's just, I'm like, I thought that was nice, and that's
how me and VF beat people in live run was using fundamentals.
Pretty much.
Except that damn dunk you kept doing, that shit was wild. But but everything else was fundamentals. Me and DJ also had some battles, online versus.
Yeah, I the one thing that frustrates me about when Bills plays is that and the one thing I was just like, sometimes you just have to slow down.
Yeah,
you have to cover the puck, take the face off on your own, and just you don't always have to fast break it every single time. And I think after the first time we played, because he beat me in the first game. Yeah. But just like the Caps did the Golden Knights, it was a gentleman's sweep thereafter.
No, I beat you in the game while I used the Rangers too. So it was like 5-2, I think.
Okay, yeah.
5-2.
So like a kind gentleman's sweep.
Yeah.
So because what was it? the last game, like the biggest that blowout game that I could tell you weren't even into it at that point, because the team that you picked Detroit, and I forgot who I picked Tampa Bay. And
yeah, you picked Tampa, yep.
Yeah, it was clear that Tampa was far superior than Detroit in every single facet of the game. 7-2? Yeah.
So you mean to tell me that there are differentiations in teams?
Mm-hmm.
Like some people don't realize it's like that in Madden too? I just want to know.
Yeah, because in Madden I was playing Denver, and like I said, I'm pitching a shutout. I'm like, what's the name? Could not complete a pass regularly. Throwing the ball like someone was low in the ground, inaccurate passes. Even for clean pocket, it's just that type of game for him.
Yeah. But that's the thing. The only thing that sucks about playing online is the CPU changing your strategy.
Of course, that can be adjusted once the full game comes out, because as far as the beta, they didn't allow us to change the CPU strategy assist or whatever to 0, which would disable the computer from choosing your own plays. So, and there was no access to any sliders to any sliders whatsoever. So, basically, it just seemed like we were playing the game default, full simulation.
Yep.
All of our games
on All-Star.
On All-Star and real-time 20 minutes.
Yep.
So, like,
you can play real-time 20 minutes with somebody else who knows how to play the game, and it will not get boring. There will not be too much scoring, etc., etc. So,
but with the CPU, you're gonna have to use at least 12 minutes.
Yeah.
At the most, 12 minutes. You can go
Definitely
12 between like 12 and 10.
Right.
So things I noticed, I did like the AI off the puck, how they were defending. They seem to keep their positioning a lot better, and they understand where they are in the ice to kind of cut you off a little bit. Mind you, that was without the the AI learning where we would usually put it. So I did like that.
And that's another thing. I'm gonna just complain to people who are in this debate about adaptive AI. Y'all need to stop fucking complaining about, I need to like, this is in reference to Madden. Those people that don't want adaptive AI, they just want the computer to call better plays. Like, do you really know what you're missing when you're not dealing with adaptive AI? I'm like, it's not just working against you, it's also working for you. Like, you call a play, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, I called the wrong play. And then just because your players has seen the formation the way they was able to adjust themselves, yes, you may want to call it a CPU assist, but it happens in the real game. You got coaches that call the wrong plays. You got players that, one, they'll either call an audible, or two, they'll position themselves in the correct spot according to what they've seen all game long. In NHL, if I'm constantly going along the boards to get the puck out, the CPU on its own will take one guy in particular, and that guy will probably be the guy that cuts it off.
Trust me, when their brain dead ass keeps calling the same play, and the defense keeps calling the same play to stop it, blitzing through that hole, and a halfback goes and picks up that blitzing linebacker, they'll be happy that it's in the game. Because adaptive AI is basically adapting to what you see and what you have seen throughout the game, and making changes accordingly. It's not going against what you're telling them to do. That's not what it's doing. It's helping you out, and it's making them more realistic as far as how they're thinking and reacting on the fly, which is what football is really all about.
Yeah, I'm like, what? People don't like the idea of anticipation,
right?
Being in the game, like, oh, I've seen this formation before. Maybe I should line up in this gap. Yeah. Oh, like the pre-play movements of players. Right now, you have this dummified version of where players, like, okay, everyone knows the strong safety blitz is coming. When all of a sudden the safety shifts to the lone man deep, and the other safety comes up on one side.
Yeah,
always the same. You see that all day. I want to see it to where the safety, if they shift, I want to see the safety possibly pick different spots. Like, all of a sudden they know there's a weakness in a particular side. Like they may shift it on one side, and then they're like, you know what? Let me go over to the other side. So yeah, we have this overload blitz on one side, but the safety blitz is coming from the other because the player himself was like, you know what? Let me do it this way.
Yeah, and in high school when I played safety, and I thought to myself, okay, I think they're going to run crossing patterns here, and they're going to cross and try to mix us up. That's adaptive AI right there. Would you rather your guy keep backing into his zone and say, oh shit, we're in goal line, they're going to try to cross us up here, we know what we're doing?
Well, I'm calling Clint.
I just feel like we got a bunch of people out here that just defer to play calling because that's what they're used to. They're used to, like if they played sports themselves, they're never the ones that used their knowledge to anticipate what was going on in the game. They were either afraid to do it or just didn't have the capability of doing it themselves. Yep. So when they get into a situation where they're playing a video game, it's just like, I want to be able to call the right play.
Thank God the basketball community ain't like that because we would never have ace, would we?
Oh God!
Oh God, no!
I'm like, that's another thing. We're running around with ace. We're running around with adaptive AI learning, and there's
FIFA
a slider for that.
I forget what
FIFA
they call
has
it.
FIFA and they're gonna have it even more with the dynamic strategy this year. But folks want to play dummy football. I'm like, it's getting better, but it needs to take that extra. They need to take that next level step to adaptive AI on the field. If you don't like it, then don't just stop playing video games all around because you've been dealing with adaptive AI if you play any other games, which most of y'all don't anyway.
I think people don't know it, but I think people are starting to see that a little bit is starting to happen in Madden 19.
I wonder how they feel when they play Forza.
God.
Who knows?
Why is this guy all of a sudden cutting me off?
Everybody need to drive in a straight line.
That's, people would get mad if they were used to turning left all the time. Oh, I got to turn right this time? What the hell?
Just imagine how infuriating it would be if you kept watching your team call a play that's been getting stopped all game and nobody finally says, you know what? Maybe we'll make this adjustment.
Hello, Jay Gruden?
Yo, they'll be ready to fire the coach. They'll be ready to fire the coach and everything, but they'll turn on Madden and want to do the same money play.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I don't get it.
They complain about cheesable routes. They complain about money plays, but yet they don't want it stopped by adaptive AI.
And that's the one thing that would stop it. Because it's like, oh, this person likes to motion this guy to this point. Okay, well, let me start lining up here.
No one play can stop everything.
It's like, they like the nano blitz? Right. Oh, let's do this.
It's like at some point you gotta want football in a football game, and if you don't, then go play NFL Blitz or play Tecmo Bowl, whatever you gotta do.
Hey, we're not about to slander. Hey, we're not about to slander Tecmo Bowl in a non-sim.
I'm not slandering.
Not in a non-sim activist. We're not about to do that.
Man,
we're not about to do that.
Man.
Not in a non-sim way. We're not gonna do Tecmo Bowl like that.
Oh, here we go.
You could go play, Joe Montana 16.
Oh shit.
Anyway, anybody else got anything to add? I mean, I'm good. I think we covered everything we wanted to.
Yeah, your folks need to stop bitching about InstaShed still. Stop bitching. And Mark, you need to learn how to fucking run the ball. I get tired of seeing tweets talking about, y'all think the run game is on point. It's not. It's because you suck.
Damn.
I ran 151 yards with the third string running back the other day.
And for him saying the CPU isn't getting any type of running game going, Marshawn gashed me for 112 on 8 carries. So,
yeah, I mean, I'm doing third string running back with the first team because Tevin Coleman got hurt, so I had to put him in the game, and he was basically gashing them. Yeah, no joke.
The run game is fine.
Yeah, majority. See, and here's the thing: majority rules. So if one person doesn't like the way the running game is, oh well. I'm like, sucks for them.
I mean,
what did Triple H say? Adapt or perish?
Hey, well, listen, exactly. If that one person has the mentality of Mark, it kind of don't matter.
We love you, Mark.
We don't. Anyway, we're gonna.
I do because I'm like the one thing I will take away from what he said about Madden overall is that he's found another game, not necessarily another football game, and these people fall into that trap that they only can enjoy football on consoles that they spent like $400 to $500 on, and now that they've probably spent $1,000 on a PC. At least, I have a gaming PC too, but I didn't spend $1,000 on it. It's an old ass PC, but it can still run Madden.
No, I'm saying, I got one. Getting. Did you buy Maximum Football?
Ooh, or when Axis come out, are you planning to buy that one?
Have you watched any Axis gameplay?
Y'all do notice. Y'all do notice
16 from the wreckage. That's what
y'all do notice. Y'all do notice that a lot of these naysayers have been quiet for the past few days. That don't mean y'all get quiet too, but I'm just saying y'all notice that they've been quiet.
Yo, Apex, let's get a game of Madden one day.
Oh, this man said Apex.
But let me hold up. Let me finish my thought about Mark.
Go ahead, yeah.
Because he did find himself a game that is more enjoyable than Madden, and I give him all due respect because I like the game too. No Man's Sky. I'm like 2 years later, that game will probably still get more burned than Madden.
Yes.
Even though Madden 19 is good. No Man's Sky with the next update is where it's at. Yep. I just need more PS4 players to jump on because I've ran into maybe one or two at a time.
So, Bills, you picking up that game?
I got it.
Already has it. We already
together. Oh, okay. I'm not buying it.
Damn.
And anyway,
should get the
I'm
game.
just not.
Man, what'd you ask that for? Then you just being a troll now.
I mean, I honestly, I don't have
he loves chickens.
Hey, I like fried chicken. I'll tell you that much.
They
go in the pan. They're baked and fried, and just not on the football field. Them motherfuckers can't play ball.
His favorite player is Davian Clowney.
No, my favorite South Carolina game. No, honestly, my favorite South Carolina Gamecock is Alshon Jeffrey. I do respect this game. The rest of them
chickens though.
You watched
Stephen Jeffries.
You watched the chicken call plays for your team all last year.
Mm-hmm.
What? Let's go. Anyway, this is First and Framerates podcast, episode 29.
On the Falcons helmet.
No, that's a bird. That's a falcon. That's a real bird.
Falcons. I thought the Eagles won the Super Bowl, not the Falcons.
No, the Eagles are the real Eagles are in Statesboro, Georgia.
The Eagles beat the Falcons too.
No, listen. Yeah. The real Eagles
blow a 28-3 lead in the Super Bowl.
Once again, the real Eagles.
Beat like
the real Eagles.
ACL.
You can talk about the Falcons. You can talk about the Falcons all you want. Go ahead. Keep with your Falcons slander.
Wait, hold up.
Go ahead. Keep going. You got it.
1991 season.
You got it.
Oh my
you got it. You got it. You got it. No. He got all of that. He got all of that.
Goldberg, and it didn't mean crap.
He got all of that. You're exactly right. But the real Eagles are in Statesboro, Georgia, with 6 national championships.
Oh my God.
6 real Eagles.
I'm not gonna sit and judge Georgia Southern, but I'm not gonna sit and rash South Carolina either.
Mm-hmm.
I'm rashing
because you're doing a great job of doing it. That's why.
First and Framerates, episode 29. We've got to call this a close. I hope you guys liked everything that we covered. We covered pretty much everything about Madden. Talked a little bit 2K NHL. We talked about some social issues. If you like, you know what to do. Thumbs up. If you dislike it, thumbs down. If you really like us, subscribe to the channel. Because every time we get together, pretty much every week, we're going to give you another episode of the podcast where you give you uncut, unfiltered, real, opinionated talk. Nothing scripted here, and nobody's holding our hand to tell us what we can and can't say. DJ, you got anything else you want to say to close it out?
I don't know, so I might need to hold my hand so I can say something. I'm just kidding. No, I appreciate everybody listening to this podcast. You know, I apologize. I was gone for the last 2 weeks, so you know I'm glad to be back. I'm glad I was welcomed back by our gracious host who likes chickens.
Hey man, you're a host too, man. Don't do that.
and definitely likes a team that likes to blow leads and blow other things. So
you can blow something, you know.
What? You can take them thumbs down and stick it straight up your candy, Falcon, chicken, loving. I'm gonna stop there. So
what you think this is? The WWE, man? Bills, what you got to say?
Damn, can DJ finish?
didn't need to. He knew what was there. So
No. Go ahead, Bill. Go ahead, DJ. Go ahead, DJ.
no, Bills can go ahead. I'm like, I'm good. I'm good. Just make sure I welcome you to the podcast next week. That's all.
I just want people to enjoy this season that's pretty much kicking off now with sports games because, trust me, we could be in a worse, better place. Just go back to 2011 if you really want to know about it.
He said a worse, better place.
A much worse.
I got what you're saying. He said it
Well,
right.
I know.
He said it right.
We could have been we could have been in a much worse spot. I mean, if you look at 2011, we had Madden 11.
Actually, it was 2010.
Not even that. You can come even early. I mean, up until more recent times. You can look at 2015.
Shit, yeah.
You know that wasn't the best.
Yeah,
you know, 2017 wasn't really the best either.
2016 with no live 17.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, you got devs throwing parties and shit. And
no, you know what? But you know what? I'm gonna close this out because somebody put this on Twitter. Oh, Bills, you done?
Yeah.
You got anything else? I want to close it out with this because somebody on Twitter put this out and nobody really talked about this. First of all, you know, I really appreciate everybody who listens and supports the podcast, and I'm glad that everybody loves all of our Madden clips that we put out, all the Madden information, and we're helping people actually become better football gamers outside of just being gamers. One person who did not get any recognition about Madden 19, nobody really talked about this, but he's gone from EA right now, but Rex Dixon has his fingerprints all over this game, and nobody really is talking about that. We could talk about the person who took his place, you know, but he has other issues. We don't want to talk about Mr. Guerrero. But Rex Dixon really, at the end of the day, he made Madden 19 happen, and I really appreciate what he's done with this game, even though he's no longer with EA Sports. So, really big time salute to him. And I hope that anybody else who's at EA just take this game for what it is and build on it to the next one, and don't tear this thing down for what it is, because it took Rex 5-6 years and he finally got a game where we honestly can say we are actually playing a game that feels like football, and I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. So shout out to Rex, and I don't have anything else to say. I guess I'm gonna close it out. Anybody else got anything else to say?
Yeah, to Mr. Guerrero, the workplace is not a hands-on experience. Should keep your hands to yourself, you still would have had a job. That's all I'm gonna say.
Have a good day. We're out. Peace.
Me too.